so they find it more necessary to spend their tax dollars and their force of officers to come and harass people because their cars are parked, a half inch over the limit. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? So that's the problem that's going on in this community, that too many people find it, more convenient to do the deaf, dumb, and blind thing, and it's sad. It's like a lot of people say it doesn't have anything to do with me, so I'm not going to get involved.
Right.
And that's the problem right there.
Right. And I'm pretty sure that probably wasn't the first time it's been a situation of, if you want to call it, retaliation from the RPD. So with dealing with all that, when you're simply just trying to open someone's eyes, you mentioned before that your father also played a big role in this community. Would you say that he kind of plays a big role as far as what keeps you going? Because some people might say, we're dealing with all the retaliation and just nothing's getting anywhere. Average person might just say, just fuck it, I'm dead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with my dad is, I think anyone that instills, certain values in you and that you're close to growing up, I always say this. I mean, a lot of my friends growing up in the hood, a lot of my homeboys, they never knew their dad for X, Y, or Z reason. You know what I mean? Either they weren't there, there's several reasons. But me and my dad had a relationship to the point where we were very close. I think one of the biggest things with my dad that maybe a lot of people didn't get is we take a lot of stuff for granted, man, in the United States. You know what I'm saying? We really do. Not knowing what it is like to really live in a police state, which, not to contradict myself, it seems more and more that it's right here in Rochester, it seems more and more that it is becoming police state-like. I'm still being nice. I'm not going to give it the label of police state, okay? I'm still keeping that hope that, our forefathers with the Constitution, that they meant for that to be really implemented. Because Mario Masick, you just shitted on the Constitution of the United States by unlawfully arresting Emily Good. But I'm still trying to keep hope that the values of this country still are to abide by that and to follow that. But I think with my dad is that he knew what it was like to live in a police state, Cuba, which is basically over there, the police basically could do whatever they want and you don't really have a lot of recourse as to what you do in return. And I think that affected him a lot and coming, especially when he moved to Rochester and seeing cases which a lot of viewers now may recognize and some that are younger may not recognize, but they can look up the history of the RPD, like Calvin Green, Alicia McCullough, who basically was shot by a white officer, and as she lay bleeding, choking on her own blood, the same white officer shoots her again. So, I mean, very troublesome cases that came up in the 80s. In the 90s, people will remember Gordon Erlacher, our own police chief, you know what I mean, embezzled $220,000 from its own police department, then tried to blame it on the black man, Roy Ruffin, his deputy chief. So, I mean, it's a long history. So, to answer your question, absolutely. I got a lot of it from my dad, a lot of the passion. And it's just, I've always been that type of person. I've never really been the type of person that if I see an injustice going on, in school, I remember coming out of Douglas, even though I was a freshman, I would see the little white kid with the fake glasses or whatever getting bullied, and thrown in a dumpster on freshman Friday. And I was that one dude out of a crowd of dudes that would step up and kind of, just do the right thing. So, I mean, I think it's in me, man. And I don't mean to be, like I said, cocky about it, but you either stand for something like the famous saying, or you fall for anything. And I just can't be somebody that sees something going on and turn my head, or see something. I've had people step to me, man, right in my face, bro. You know what I mean? And have said, listen, you crazy for what you do. And if it didn't have to do anything with my family, I would never get involved. And I basically tell them, you know what? You're part of the problem. By not getting involved, you're basically giving these rogue officers a free pass. By not, and I'm talking now to people out here. If you've been a victim of police brutality, I get calls on a weekly basis. I get calls from so many people. Davey, what do? I was jacked up by this officer. Shorty over here that I know since he was young, I won't say the name, just got on Clinton by Rialto Street, just got jacked up, and a white cop said, MF for this and that. If I see you again when I come around the block, your ass is done. And he didn't move, and his ass was done. You know what I mean? So I asked him. I said, "What did you do about it?" You know what I'm saying? I said, "Oh no, This happened like 6 months ago, you know what I mean? And I really didn't do anything about it. So I'm thinking like, wait a minute, like, do you really think the police are gonna knock on your door and say, listen, man, I couldn't really sleep last night. I beat your ass and I'm feeling kind of bad about it. So here's how to file a complaint. So every time that somebody has an abuse like that committed to them and they don't do anything about it, it's, in my eyes, it's the same as you basically just giving them a free pass. And that's what's going on, you know what I mean? But thanks to the internet, thanks to now, stuff like the Emily Good thing, a lot of these officers are realizing, man, there's people out here doing some real shit, bro. You know what I mean? It's not a game. They can think it's a game if they want. But, without giving anything away, they'd be surprised how many cameras are out there on a daily, nightly basis, doing random checks in different traffic stops, And there's more than just a white girl standing on her lawn with an iPod. There's a lot of stuff going on out here, man, and they can think it's a game all they want, you know what I'm saying? But it's real talk, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So currently, what is Davy V up to now? You mentioned you get a lot of emails from people who have been victimized in different situations. So when you receive these emails, what is usually your next step?
What I'm working on now, and I've been working on for the past several months, and it's basically a 24-hour police brutality and excuse me, and misconduct hotline. And what that's going to be, in essence, once it's set up and going and running, it's going to be basically a number that's going to be out there. I mean, everywhere. I'm going to push the number day and night. The number's going to be known out there. And basically, because what I see a lot of cases, and I get this from the people that reach out to me. It's sad that we know that Lil Wayne has a hot song on the radio, and we know who Bruno Mars is and Eminem is with the song Lighters. But the average citizen out there, if you guys go out now with a camera and do a little survey, we don't even know our rights, bro. I had a girl call me a couple weeks ago, and she basically said that an ex-boyfriend of hers, the police somehow had the address that he used to, crash over there with her and stay with her. They basically done destroyed this girl's apartment without a warrant. So it's sad. We don't, as the average citizen out here, most citizens don't even know your rights to search for the police, to search your home. In other words, most people don't know that you can say no. Most people don't have the slightest idea to do when they're in a traffic stop. Most people don't know that a warrant needs to have a signature on it by a judge or a magistrate, ordering that order to be effective for the police to search. I've known people that have opened up just on the strength of a cop says we have a warrant, and it's crazy. Our rights are literally being trampled on a daily basis. So I felt the need after a lot of people just reaching out to me, and again, this is over the course of at least the past 10 years that I've been really active in it. I felt the need for something like this for a long time, and nobody has done it, and I'm basically taking it upon myself to do that. So I mean, there's stuff, to be honest, that on Inside Edition, the story was recently on there, and I actually spoke with somebody from Inside Edition the other day, and they basically, they kind of wanted to get some information about, like, what am I doing and what are people doing in Rochester, specifically people from, like, indie media. And I'll be honest, a lot of the stuff that I got going on is stuff that, is real on the low, so to speak, as far as from a surveillance point of view. But on something that I will talk about is stuff like the hotline. It's stuff like pushing more and more the internet. I mean, you got to be like blind or never, have turned on a computer to not know the power of the internet. So, and not to add more here, more than your question, but I wanna speak to the youth out here, and I want to send a message to them, especially the youth. I'm not ruling out anyone else. Anyone is welcome to get involved, obviously, but especially the youth. There's so much talent right now in the hood. There's so much passion in the hood. And everybody's not going to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not going to come out here, spitting bars. There's so much that the youth can do and get involved. There's a station in the city, where I got my start on, 15, 17 years ago, which is RCTV Channel 15. And it's available. Most people don't even know that that's available to them. Most people don't even know that the federal government mandates that, anyone that's watching this in any city, there's channels that have been, by the government, that cable monopolies such as Time Warner or Comcast, that they have to provide by law a channel for these companies that are making millions they have to provide at least one channel per size of the city to people to start their own show. So there's so much that they can do out here, you know what I'm saying? And if anything, like whenever I get interviewed, a lot of the questions sometimes is, well, you know, what would you like people to take away from this? What would you like to see people do? And I want to motivate somebody. If right now one person is watching this interview and says, man, you know what? I love photography. I love video. Damn, that's something I can do. I mean, doing it carefully. You know what I mean? Not interfering, like Emily Good did not interfere. You know, but doing it carefully. And it's not just police. There's so much, man. There's discrimination. There's slumlords out here. There's so many violations being committed as we speak with people that live in Greece in $500,000-$600,000 houses and in Canandaigua and all these suburbs, but they're living off these DSS checks that are being sent to them for slum properties that they are renting to minorities in the city.
So if people need to get in contact with you, you mentioned you get a lot of emails. What's the best way that people can reach you?
They can go through, they can go to my YouTube channel, which is Davy VTV, which is DAVYV TV, all together, and or they can go to this long ass email, which is Keep It On The Real Productions, and it's real as in film or video reel, like 2 E's, so REEL.
Like real to real.
Yeah, like real to real, exactly. So Keep It On The Real Productions at yahoo.com. Anyone that wants to Facebook me or anything, Davy Vara, which the last name is VARA, and it's also Davy V, but Facebook won't let you put like an initial for the last name or whatever. So so that's how they can get at me. Usually phone number I'll put out there as far as when people initially contact me. I don't want to put the number loosely out there. Thanks to some whack nuts out in Rochester, that got a hold of my number. Some very sick, twisted, racist individuals are, I've gotten some pretty interesting calls,
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. But they can get at me like that. Anyone interested in watching, looking at any of the films that I've done, my YouTube channel, Davy VTV, it's got a lot of it. I love the term. I never quite understood the term when I used to log on to different websites. I never understood the term under construction. And now I do,
Yeah.
Unless when it's you doing something, then you understand it. So, like I said, it's under construction. I never thought I would use that, but it is. It's a work in progress. It's something that's evolving as we speak, and I plan to put a lot of stuff on there. So.
Once again, we definitely appreciate your time.
I appreciate the love, man. And the only thing I want to say real quick is, like I said, thanks for having me. Be easy, Juan HDTV. The reason I say that is because there's a lot of shows, and there's a lot of outlets that I feel, I'm not gonna name no names, but that can be doing more, for a good cause, and to support local talent. I've been threatened, I've been arrested for my work, and it just feels good. Like I said, I've been interviewed, the Source magazine, you name it. My work is all over on the internet, Urban American magazine, the Av magazine, but there's nothing like hometown support, man, and I mean that, Rochester's my hometown, and just to have a couple brothers out here doing something positive, it feels good to get, somebody that's from Rochester, interested enough in my work and my passion for this to support it. So I really appreciate that, and thank you guys again, man.
Thank you. It's Inside 585.